What's up everyone, welcome back to a new video on the Alien Algo channel. Today we'll be going over the markets again. I will try to keep this one as short as possible for everyone. So with that being said, I've already mapped out the key points, but the main thing I want to start off with is that liquidation cascade we were talking about. So I said that most people will be putting bids, meaning they will want to be buying this. Right, because this was the previous higher clear resistance level, ended up getting broken, and it also was the tap of this previous all-time high. So once price dipped below this, we have seen this big wick, that liquidation cascade we were talking about. So the main thing I said is we don't want to be buying here. We want to buy once the cascade is starting to gas off a little bit. So with that part being said, let's get into the 1-day time frame. So as you can see, I've cleaned up the chart as much as possible, so only the key things should be shown right now. So the liquidation cascade, we had seen it here, right? That big push and then the quick drop late in the night and then the reversal early, right, like closely after. So the thing I wanted to map out here is the main profile, right? We have this pivot here. This really started the main sell-off. And we've put that all the way towards the low. Yes, the 2 points, the 2 pivots, if you want to copy this volume profile. So the point we were looking at to reclaim from the drop was this value area low. But once that happened, we really saw that quick push towards the highs. And this ended up being the support for 3 times further. So the value area high should be respected. As we can see, this is also at the high of this prior compression. But for the current range we are in, right, we are still technically inside of the range. After you break out from this high, we are outside of it, right? But still at this point, we could fall back below. But there I'm getting a bit off track. So the second volume profile we have right here is from this move into the low. To really view only this drop and the current range, right? So only this little drop for the lower time frame range. So as of now, you see this really is that point we should be looking out to break. Because at this point, we have the third volume profile to show the developing of this range. So we see it right here, clear compression building. And as of now, we've seen that push above. But what do we want to see if we want to be bullish, and what don't we want to see, right? How do we invalidate one side? How do we validate the other? So the simple thing right here is this value area high. We've broken away from it. So in such a case, you would not want to be retesting it. Retesting it would be quite dangerous. It would logically mean that you could go all the way down to fill back into the value and drop back down towards the low. So the ideal point to hold right now would be this box right here. A retest would be possible, but again, that would not be too bullish. If we really want to be pushing, we should build some sort of base here and break away from it. Simple thing, right? The moment you start to see something like this, that's your moment to start hedging or getting out of positions expecting these lower prices, right? If you didn't already sell at the peak. So now let's go into a lower time frame. We see as of now that 4 hour. The thing I always like to do, right? We see rejection. We see the start of the move, right? We see a little bit of compression, and this really is your impulse, these 4 candles. So a thing we will be doing now, we will be getting the fixed range volume profile again. Put it from here, and what do we see? You see the same thing, right? We see this is that higher time frame thing we want to be holding. We don't want to see the retest of this, right? So this should be around that trigger point. Again, this 70K area right here to hold. If it starts getting into here, this becomes bad. And this becomes really bad, right? So the thing we want to see, the reclaim of this VOC. From there, the value area high to break. So this again to break. As long as you're below this, it can technically still do this, as what do we see is already below it. So while this really looked like bullish as a proper break of the highs, right? It's really not as of now. Until this starts breaking, then you can expect that move towards the 80K. As long, again, as we're below this BOC, it's still the possibility of going lower. So again, if we get some sort of lower time frame pullback into this area, look to be a buyer with a tight invalidation, right? If it does not reclaim this, we should be looking for sells. So how can we play this? If it starts showing momentum loss right here, we could look to short. If it starts trading into here, look for a little buy hedge, right? If it goes up, you make money on the buy, and this, you know the game. So one deep dive on that, I won't go into that on this video. So to end it off with, we will simply be looking at the script. So one thing I want to put off will be the bar coloring in this case. So on the 1 day, what do we see? We see the score full red, and we see it slowly starting to turn around, right? But when did this happen before? We quickly see this, we also tried 2 times. So we can really validate the buy side if we start breaking up from here and the score starts flipping out of neutral. So yellow, neutral, right? We see out of neutral, push. So this is that point to kill. So looking at volume, we see on this drop here, really the volume died, and from here we started picking up. What do you see? A vertical accumulation type pattern. So the main point to break again, the same point we were just looking at based on TA. Look, very simple, same exact point. Welcome to the script. So point to hold here, right? If you really start dropping back below this, then you're looking at one of these moves, which would not be that funny, right? So this clearly to hold, this clearly to break. So with that being said, that will be it for this video. So again, if you're interested in the script or in the Discord and what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, then DM me on X and we will have a talk about the Discord. So with that being said, guys, alien out.